I was halfway through a soggy turkey wrap when my phone buzzed. Layout meeting got pushed up to 3. That left me less than 2 hours to pull together the final mock-ups. I'd stayed late the night before cleaning them up at home, which was dumb, because now I was sitting at my desk at Wilson and West with the wrong folder open. The final files weren't on my laptop. They were on the thumb drive plugged into the USB hub on my desk at home. I didn't panic. I just stood up, grabbed my keys, and told Marcy I had to step out, but I'd be back before the pitch. She didn't even ask. Everyone was fried trying to land the Caraway lifestyle pitch. I figured I could be in and out of the house in 15 minutes. I didn't call Kim. No reason to. Thursdays were her errand days. She usually hit the co-op, Target, maybe her mom's if she was feeling patient. We'd been married almost 4 years. I didn't track her every move. Never needed to. But as I turned onto our street, something felt off. There was a motorcycle parked just past our fence, not in front of any house, tucked halfway into the bushes by our side gate. I slowed down, stared at it. Black mat with a worn leather seat. Not a delivery bike. Not one I recognized. Didn't think much of it, honestly. I pulled a few houses down and parked. Left the engine running while I tried to decide if I was just being weird. Then I turned it off anyway. The side gate was unlatched. I went around the back. Quietly. Not like I was sneaking, just habit. Our sliding door was cracked open. And there they were. Kim. Shirtless. In our backyard hammock. Straddling some guy also shirtless. Kissing him like she hadn't seen him in weeks. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. She pulled back first. Saw me standing there like a ghost. Froze. The guy turned halfway and flinched like he'd seen a damn ghost too. Before we go on, share which city or country you're watching from. I didn't shout. Didn't charge at them. I just looked at her. At both of them. Like I was watching my own life fall apart in high def. The guy scrambled, grabbed his shirt, didn't say a word. He vaulted the side fence so fast I didn't even see where he landed. Kim started crying before she said anything. I was still standing there when she reached for me, babbling something I didn't even register. I turned around and walked inside. Didn't slam the door. Didn't say a word. Just headed straight for the den to get the damn thumb drive. She was behind me before I even reached the hallway. Nathan, wait. Please. Just let me talk. I kept walking. Right down the hall, past the family photos, past the stupid macrame art she made last winter, and into the den. Her voice cracked as she followed me in. It wasn't God. It wasn't what you think. I opened the drawer, pulled the thumb drive, pocketed it. My hand was shaking. I could feel it even if I didn't show it. It was just physical, okay? It didn't mean anything. I don't even know why I turned and walked out. No, please, Nathan. Just let me explain. She grabbed my arm. I stopped, looked at her. Her face was red, wet with tears, hair all tangled up from whatever the hell they'd been doing out there. She was still shirtless, wearing just that old sports bra she always complained had no support. We've been off lately, she said. You felt it too. We've been distant. That part hit something deep because no, we hadn't. Not from my side. I yanked my arm free and walked out the front door. Didn't slam it. Didn't even look back. The second I got behind the wheel, my body started humming. Like everything inside me was screaming at once but staying stuck in my throat. I started the engine and pulled away, not even looking for that guy. If he was still nearby, he better hope I didn't see him. I didn't call anyone. Didn't blast music. I drove. Straight down Hickory, through 2 yellow lights I didn't even register, up onto the I-40 ramp like I was running from a crime scene. Every damn thought came crashing in at once. Who was that guy? How long had it been going on? Had she brought him here before? How many times? How many lies had I believed like a total idiot? I gripped the wheel tighter. My knuckles were white. At one point I realized I was holding my breath without meaning to. I had 20 minutes before the pitch. 15 minutes later, I pulled into the Wilson and West lot. I sat there for a second, staring through the windshield. My heart was racing. Not from nerves, from something worse. I walked in through the side entrance. Marcy looked up from her desk and said, "You good?" I nodded once. Didn't speak. Inside the boardroom, the team was already pulling up the slides. I handed the USB to Colin and sat down like I hadn't just watched my marriage fall off a cliff. The room smelled like old coffee and cheap cologne. I could barely hear what anyone was saying. Then it was my turn. I stood up, walked to the front, and started talking. I don't remember what I said. My mouth did the work while my brain replayed the image of Kim on that hammock, straddling some loser in cargo shorts. The Caraway rep asked a question. I answered. Someone cracked a joke. I smiled. We wrapped the meeting in 25 minutes. I sat back down. Colin leaned over. You okay, man? Yeah, I said. Just tired. That was the only thing I said for the rest of the day. I stayed at my desk long after everyone else left. The hallway lights were already on motion sensors, and the AC had kicked into its after-hours hum. I had my monitor on, but I wasn't doing anything. Just staring at the screen. No emails, no drafts, no edits. Every few minutes I'd check the time and think, another hour, maybe. I wasn't ready to walk back into that house. I didn't even know if she'd be there, and I didn't want to find out. Thought you went home already? Jordan's voice came from behind me. I turned. He was holding his keys and wearing that same faded black blazer he kept on his office chair. Mid-40s, gray at the temples, always calm. I shrugged. Just wrapping a few things up. You haven't moved in like 40 minutes. I looked at the screen, then back at him. Didn't feel like leaving yet. He watched me for a second, then said, let's go get a drink. We didn't talk much in the car. He drove. I stared out the window. We passed a bunch of spots near downtown, but he kept going until we hit this old roadside tavern just outside of Durham. Brick building, one neon sign, gravel lot. I'd never been there. Felt like the kind of place with no TV and nobody trying to be impressive. Inside, it smelled like fried food and wood polish. We grabbed a booth near the back. The waitress didn't ask for IDs. Just came over, nodded, and waited. 2 bourbons, Jordan said. Neat. I didn't argue. We sat in silence for a while. He didn't press. Just let me sit there with whatever was boiling under my skin. First drink went down fast. Second came right behind it. Eventually I said, I caught my wife cheating on me today. His head tilted slightly. He didn't react with shock. Just waited. In our backyard, I added. In the damn hammock I hung last summer. Jesus, he said. She didn't even try to hide it. Some guy she met at boot camp or whatever the hell. They were just there. I came home to grab a file and there she was, shirtless, making out with him like I didn't exist. Jordan didn't say anything. He just let me keep going. She said it was just physical. Tried blaming it on us being distant. We weren't distant. I was working. We were fine. At least I thought we were. He leaned forward a little. You believe her? No, not anymore. I stared down at the table. My fingers were clenched into fists. I hadn't even noticed. I didn't yell, I said. Didn't throw anything. I just left. Picked up the file. Went back to work. Gave the damn pitch like my life wasn't falling apart. Jordan nodded slowly, like he'd heard it all before. Then he leaned back, took a sip and said, You know what's messed up? I almost proposed to someone once. Had the ring in my jacket pocket. She was cheating on me that same week. That caught me off guard. She didn't know I'd found out, he said. I let her walk around like everything was fine for another 2 days. Then I gave her the ring box, empty, and told her she could shove it. I let out half a breath. Maybe a laugh. Not sure. He looked me dead in the eye. When someone shows you they'll hurt you, believe them the first time. That line landed hard. No fluff. Just a truth that cracked something wide open inside me. I didn't say anything after that. Didn't need to. We ordered another round and drank it in silence. The ride back from the bar was dead quiet. I told Jordan I was fine to drive myself and he didn't argue. Just nodded and said, Take care of yourself. I didn't go home. Just circled aimlessly through side streets until I ran out of gas station coffee and direction. Somewhere between the 3rd and 4th red light, I started thinking about the beginning. Kim was living at her mom's place when we met. Tiny one-story house off Broad Street with bad plumbing and a sagging porch. She said she'd just gotten out of something bad. A long-term thing with a guy she started a business with. Some wannabe entrepreneur who drained her savings. Then cheated on her when the business tanked. She was guarded. Said she didn't do serious anymore. I didn't push. We met at a local pop-up market. She was selling beaded jewelry and clay earrings under a little beige tent with her business name scrawled on a DIY banner, Canyon Clay and Stone. I remember thinking she had the kind of focus that made you want to earn her attention, not just grab it. She had this sad, tired look in her eyes, but she smiled when I complimented her pieces. I bought a pair for my sister and left my card on the table. Told her if she ever needed design help or wanted to collaborate for a magazine feature, to call me. She didn't, not for weeks. Then one night she emailed me, asking if I knew anyone at Indigo Style, some tiny fashion blog we'd worked with before. I forwarded her name to a friend. After that, she started texting. Just business at first. Then it turned into "You busy? And know any good faux places?" Kept it light. Never flirted too hard. Never made it weird. I knew she was bruised. I let her come to me. After maybe 4 months, she started opening up. Told me about the late-night fights with the ex. About the money stress, the lies, the gaslighting. I listened. That's all I did. Just listened and kept showing up. Eventually, she said she trusted me. We made it official that fall. Married a year and a half later in a courthouse ceremony with 10 people and a potluck dinner. I remember standing there thinking, she's finally healed. We built something real. Now, I felt like I'd been drafted into someone else's redemption story. Like I'd just been the rehab phase before she moved on. And the worst part? I never saw it coming. Every night she stayed late working on orders. Every time she said she was exhausted from inventory. I believed her. Every damn thing she said, I believed without hesitation. And now I couldn't unsee it. Her in that hammock. Her fingers in that guy's hair. Her smile, the same one she used to give me. I pulled over and dry heaved into a gas station trash can. When I finally pulled into the driveway, the house was dark except for the kitchen light. Her car was there. I walked in and found her sitting at the counter with her hands wrapped around a mug she hadn't touched. She looked up fast when she heard the door. "Nathan, please. Can I talk?" I dropped my keys in the bowl by the door and didn't answer. She stood up, still in workout leggings and a hoodie, like she was trying to look casual, like this was normal. "I need to explain what happened. What really happened." I started walking toward the guest room. "It was one time," she said quickly, following behind. "It was stupid and gross, and I swear to God it only happened once." I opened the door to the guest room and flipped on the light. Stale air, old blankets. Didn't matter. "I met him at that boot camp class I started in May," she said. "The Saturday one. He's a trainer there. God, I didn't think it would go like that. We texted a little, and it got flirty, and then it just happened. It's not who I am." I didn't look at her. Just took off my shoes, set them neatly against the wall, and lay down on the bed, fully dressed. She stood in the doorway. "I love you, Nathan. I've never stopped loving you." I stared at the ceiling until she walked away. The next morning, she left early. I didn't ask where she went. There were 2 notes on the counter when I walked into the kitchen. One on top said, "I couldn't sleep. Went for a drive. I'm so sorry." The other was a full page. I didn't read it. Just tossed both in the trash under the coffee filter. I sat down at the table with my laptop and typed, "Durham divorce lawyer free consult." I didn't want revenge. Didn't want drama. I wanted out. The second night was even quieter than the first. She tiptoed around like I was a sleeping baby. I heard her on the phone with her mom whispering something like, "He won't even look at me." She was right. I didn't. She left another note the next morning. I didn't even open that one. Straight to the trash. I wasn't avoiding the fight. There just wasn't one left. By the end of day 2, I had 5 tabs open comparing legal fees and free consultations. I emailed 3 places, left my number with one. She came into the guest room after dinner with red eyes and sat on the edge of the bed. I know you're hurting, she said. And you hate me. I don't blame you. I just need you to know I'm not trying to defend what I did. I made a mistake. A huge, disgusting, selfish one. But it wasn't because I don't love you. I do. I always have. I didn't say a word. Didn't flinch. She waited a few seconds, then stood up slowly and walked out. That night, I opened a new folder on my laptop and labeled it divorce. I downloaded a separation agreement template, looked up North Carolina's no-fault process, and started building a checklist. Not once did I stop to think about what she was feeling. I didn't care. That part of me? Dead. She could cry, beg, write 100 more notes. I wasn't going to read them. I didn't need closure. I needed distance. 3 days after I sent the paperwork to her email, she replied with, I won't fight you on this. No argument. No defense. Just those 8 words. I forwarded it straight to the lawyer I picked from the shortlist. Flat fee. No kids. No joint business. Should have been simple. I packed what I needed in 3 hours. Laptop, clothes, documents, random crap from the bathroom drawer. Didn't touch anything we bought together. Didn't want it. Found a short-term rental near the highway. Month-to-month lease. Beige carpet. Thin walls, stained blinds. Perfect. Quiet. Forgettable, nothing that felt like her. We didn't have any public blow-ups. No Facebook rants. No long, vague Instagram stories. I didn't give her that power. Word got around fast anyway. A couple of our friends tried to stay neutral. It's complicated. We weren't there. Sometimes people grow apart. Others didn't bother pretending. Dude, I always had a weird vibe about her. One guy from work told me at lunch. The way she talked to you? Too careful. Like she was always performing. Jordan asked if I was okay. I said yeah, but I wasn't really answering the question. About a week into the move, I was digging through a folder of old mail and scribbled notes, trying to find my car title for the insurance update. That's when I found it. Sticky note. Pale yellow. Kim's handwriting in purple ink, the pens she liked from that overpriced paper store. Saturday 9 a.m. Eric says bring resistance bands. I stopped breathing. I flipped it over. Blank. No date. But I remembered seeing that on the fridge weeks ago. I glanced at it and assumed it was for some class or errand. Eric. She'd used his name weeks ago, before the day I caught them. And the note wasn't a reminder. It was personal. Something you write when you care what someone thinks. Eric says bring resistance bands. My stomach turned. I dropped the note and walked out onto the crappy little balcony that faced a brick wall. She lied. Not just about what happened, about when it started. She made it sound like it was a stupid one-time thing that caught her off guard. Heat of the moment. But that sticky note? That was planning. Comfort. Familiarity. It wasn't just physical. It was emotional. It was deliberate. All those days she came home from boot camp flushed and smiling. The good sore she'd brag about. The smoothies she started making for her recovery. God, I'd made a damn joke once. I said, "Who's this mystery trainer getting you in shape?" She laughed and said, "He's harmless." I gripped the balcony railing and tried not to put my fist through the wall. I wasn't even angry anymore. Not in the loud, yelling way. This was deeper, colder, like something under my skin had finally frozen over. I walked back inside, opened the kitchen drawer, and dropped the sticky note into the trash. Then I took out the trash, just to make sure it was gone. After I dumped the trash, I didn't sit down. I went straight to my desk and opened my laptop. Shot off 2 emails asking for more client edits, more hours, more work. That became my thing. Staying busy. I volunteered for every extra layout, brand deck, and dumb internal presentation nobody wanted to do. Took on side gigs, too, helping a buddy who ran local events. Booth setups, vendor check-ins, whatever he needed. I was up at 6 and working till midnight most days. Kept my hands moving so my brain wouldn't. Jordan checked in every couple weeks. Never overstepped. One Thursday, he swung by my desk at 5:45 and said, "You owe me a bourbon." We went to that same tavern from before. This time I talked more. He told me it was rare for guys to talk about this stuff. Said we all get taught to man up and move on. like heartbreak only belongs to women. I told him I didn't even care about heartbreak anymore. I cared about the insult, the part where someone looked you in the face every day and kept lying. He nodded. That's the part that sticks. I didn't talk about Kim with anyone else. I didn't vent online. I didn't text her. I blocked her number the same week I moved out. Unfollowed. Deleted. Nuked every photo from my phone. But her ghost still showed up sometimes. In my head, I kept seeing the old sofa, the one we bought on our second anniversary. That ugly but comfortable gray one we argued about in the showroom for 2 hours. That's where she brought him. That's where she sat after. That's where she left one of the apology notes I didn't read. I'd been avoiding furniture shopping, but one night I walked into a secondhand place and bought the first cheap couch I saw that didn't remind me of her. Olive green, scratchy as hell, but mine. The delivery guys brought it in, and I dragged the old one out by myself. Tossed it next to the dumpster behind the complex. Didn't even post it for sale. I stood there for a second, looking at it, the stains, the sag in the middle, and thought, you're not mine anymore. That was the first time I felt a little human again. Just a flicker. But it was something. A couple months later, I was back at the office late, running over a brand kit for some eco-startup that wouldn't shut up about their mission. I walked past the break room and saw Jordan sitting with one of the junior designers. Eli, quiet kid, mid-20s, head in his hands, eyes red. Jordan had a hand on his shoulder. I didn't stop, just kept walking. But something about it hit me sideways. That was me once. Same slump, same 1,000-yard stare. That night, I thought about how different I'd felt after that first bourbon with Jordan. He hadn't given me some cliché or played therapist. Just told me the truth and let it land. Next weekend, my buddy Sean called me out of the blue. Said his girlfriend of 3 years had left him for a guy she worked with. She said we were too routine, he said. Like, what the hell does that even mean? She used to like our routines. He sounded dazed, like someone had reached into his chest and hit reset. I didn't give him the usual crap. Didn't tell him she'd regret it. Didn't say she was confused. I just told him, when someone shows you they'll hurt you, believe them the first time. He got quiet for a second. Then he said, yeah, that's real. We stayed on the phone another hour. Didn't solve anything, but it felt like the right kind of broken. I didn't pretend to be wise. I wasn't. I was still working through my own mess. But I was more cautious now. Not bitter, just sharper. Less trusting of words. More interested in patterns. I hadn't thought about Kim much lately. Once in a while, I'd hear a voice in a store that sounded like hers and feel that jolt in my chest. Or I'd pass a house with white shutters and catch myself thinking about her mom's place. But it didn't sting anymore. It was like remembering someone else's dream. I didn't forgive her. I didn't need to. I just didn't care anymore. I was glad I found out. Grateful even. That folder I forgot, that dumb mistake, saved my life. And now, for the first time in a long time, I was starting to think maybe I could trust someone again. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. And next time I'd believe what I saw, not just what I wanted to believe. The courtroom smelled like cheap carpet and stale coffee. I sat at the end of the bench while the clerk called the names, one by one. When ours came up, I stood. So did she. Kim wore black slacks and a pale blue blouse I'd seen a dozen times before. She didn't look at me. Not once. I didn't expect an apology. Didn't want one. The judge flipped through the paperwork, asked if we both understood the terms. We both said yes. 5 minutes later, it was done. No drama. No speeches. Just signatures and silence. Outside, the sun was blinding. Kim headed one direction toward the parking lot. I went the other. No wave. No goodbye. Just a clean break. That night, I met Jordan at our usual spot. He raised his glass. End of an era? Something like that, I said. He looked me over. You look lighter. I nodded. I am. We sat there for a while, not needing to say much. I thought about how different everything could have gone if I hadn't left that folder behind that day. One missed file, one random decision to drive home at lunch, and it blew the whole lie wide open. That stupid mistake saved my life. I didn't say it out loud. Just took another sip and let the weight finally fall off my shoulders. I knew I'd carry the scar. That wasn't going anywhere. But the pain didn't own me anymore. And yeah, I still remembered the betrayal, how fast it happened, how easily she slipped into someone else's arms like I never existed. That part would stay with me. But I wasn't stuck in it anymore. I was free. And maybe someday, not now, but someday I'd build something real again. With someone honest. Someone who meant it when they said, "I love you." This time, I'd know what to look for. Do you think Kim truly felt remorse? Or was she just avoiding the fallout? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more real stories.